and a warm welcome to all the participants to today's webinar on gut health. So there's a very famous saying by Robert Urich that a healthy outside starts from the inside. What does this really mean? Let's understand this with a small example. Imagine there is a person A named Smiley who is energized upon wake up and is able to sustain his energy all throughout the day. He has no digestive issues like constipation, acidity, flatulence, bloating, nothing at all, flaunts his clear skin, and is able to maintain stable moods. Against this, we have a person B named Grumpy. Upon wake up, he feels tired. He has low energy levels all throughout the day, has one or two digestive issues like constipation, bloating, flatulence, gases, has skin problems also, and has many mood swings, making him a very irritable, confused, and frustrated person. Now, there's a question for all of you. Which person do you really relate to quite often? Is it person A, Smiley, or is it person B, Grumpy? You can put your responses in the chats. Do you relate to A or do you relate to B? When I say relate, what I mean is at the current situation, are you person A with no clinical or no digestive issues, or you are person B with one or two symptoms? Yes, I would like to see your responses in the chat. Okay, I see a lot of responses saying B. Dream about A but wake up to B. I definitely understand this. Of course, B isn't a good answer to really relate to, but do not worry. The good news is that we can fix up all these issues by fixing only one thing, and that is by fixing your gut. We can now very well relate to the first quote that we saw. By fixing your inside body, you can very visibly fix the outside. That's the health of your body. And with this, I welcome you all to today's session once again on Gut Fix. Before the session, I would like you to all take you through the agenda. We will first understand what is gut. The entire session is on gut. So we need to understand what exactly is gut. What are the organs that are involved in the gut? We will then move on to understand who are the key members of this gut. Who are those members who are creating a lot of havoc and making us that person be grumpy? We will then look at functions of gut. So apart from the excellent health benefits that you saw in Smiley, there are few more functions of gut that we will be looking into. Our body gives us a lot of signals talking about your gut health. But to understand that signals, we need to know the symptoms. And if we know the symptoms, we'll be able to find solutions for that. So we will then also look into 10 visible symptoms of unhealthy gut. And then finally, we will be looking into the simple and practical solutions for a healthy gut. So hope all of you are ready for this. Can I get a yes in the chat? I'm waiting for your yes so that we can start the further session. Great. So I see everyone is ready for the session. So before we move on to what is gut, I would like to understand from you all, what do you understand by gut? So Archana, can you please flash the poll? Great. So which of the following organs are a part of your gut? Is it the mouth, esophagus, stomach, and small intestine? Is it only the stomach and intestine? Is it colon and rectum? Or is it the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, colon, and the rectum? I want each of the audience to pick the response that you feel is the right answer. Okay. Archana, are we getting the responses?
Yes, for now we have gotten stomach and intestine 29%,
Okay.
And the last option, 67%.
Okay. So that's really great to know that I think most of you know what exactly is a gut, right? But let us understand more about it. So, gut is a complex system which involves all the organs which are involved in the digestion of the food. So, right from your mouth, so, yeah, right from your mouth, from where you take in the food to all the organs which are involved in the digestion, absorption, and excretion of the food. So, from your mouth to your esophagus is the food pipe from which the food is being transported to the stomach. Then your stomach, your intestines, where the breakdown of the food happens, where the absorption of the food happens, and finally into your colon and the rectum, through which the waste food is thrown out of the system. So all the organs are involved and all the organs are a part of your gut, which is the gastrointestinal tract. Now let's understand who really lives in this gut. So the entire family of bacteria, virus, and fungi lives in our gut, and all together are known as the microbiome. Now, just consider this as your body is the house, right? It's a home. You are the owner of that body, and the bacteria, viruses, and fungi are like the tenants living over there, right? Now, how many of these are living in your gut? It's not in thousands or lakhs, it's in millions and trillions. There are 100 billion of these microbiomes or the microbiotas which are living in your gut. They're 10 times more than the normal cell in your body. Now, what is a cell? Cell is the smallest unit of your body. Many cells come together to make the entire body. So just imagine the microbiota, I mean the bacteria in your gut are 10 times more even than the cell in your body. Coming to how much do they weigh? The weight of these family, the entire family of the bacteria, virus, and fungi is 1.5 kg to 2 kg. So from the entire weight of your body, 2 kilo to ye family ka hai, right? Which is more than the weight of your brain. Your weight of the brain is around 1.3 to 1.4 kgs. So just understand the intensity and the amount of these, bacteria in our body. Why am I again and again, saying bacterias? Because among the bacterias, virus, and fungi, the most of the portion is been occupied by the bacterias, and small portions is by the viruses and the fungi. Now, where do they really reside? As I just mentioned, that gut consists of the entire organs, right from your mouth to the rectum. But most of the population of these microbiomes live in your colon, your stomach, and the rectum. Okay. Now, how do you really decide the health of your gut? कैसे पता चलता है कि अपना जो गट है वो हेल्दी है या अनहेल्दी है? It depends on two things. One is how rich is your gut. That means how much portion of bacteria are living in your gut and how much are the good bacteria, right? So the bacteria or this family of microbiomes are of two types. One is the good types, right, which are like the buddy system in your body. Well, second are the bad bacteria, which are the pathogens, which are actually harming your body. Now, if the proportion of this good to bad bacteria is 75% to 15%, then we can consider that your gut is healthy. Okay. But if there is imbalance in this proportion, then you can say that your gut is getting unhealthy. The second way on what basis the health of your gut is decided is on the diversity. So just imagine, as I just told you, that your body is the home, you are the owner, and these are the tenants, right? So how many tenants and how good are the tenants will actually decide the maintenance of that house. Now we are talking about the diversity. So just imagine that in a home, everyone has a skill of cooking, right? Will that house really be maintained properly? No, right? We want diversity in the skills of the people living there also. So maybe someone are skilled in cooking, someone are skilled in maintaining the cleanliness of the house. Some are looking into the finances, some are looking into the things that need to be done outside the house. When all these types of people are living together, then it can be said that the house is really functioning well. Same goes with our gut bacteria also. So along with the number of bacteria, we also need a diversity of the bacteria, because each bacteria type also has different functions in the gut. Now, will not go into the details of each and every good bacteria and what are the functions that each bacteria are doing, but we will definitely look into the overall functioning of the gut. Before that, I would like to ask you all once again a question. Do you know where do these bacteria really originate from? कहाँ से आते हैं ये bacteria? Yes, and Archana has put up the poll. Where do the microbiotas in our body primarily originate from? Do they come from the environment we live in? They come from the air that we breathe? Do they come from the food we eat? Or do they come from the mother during the birth process? Right? Are they transferred from the mother to the child? I want you, all of you want to really participate in this so that it is interactive and not only I am speaking. So hope everyone has put in their polls, answers. It's okay even if it is right or wrong. I mean, the first poll you all were correct and most of you were correct. Yes, Archana, do you want to let me know the results?
Yeah, so mostly people have chosen the food we eat. Some of
Okay.
them have also chosen the environment we live in. And
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Archana. And this time I think I get this for me, because most of you have answered it wrongly. So the question was actually that where do they really originate from? Do they definitely come from the environment? They definitely come from the air we breathe. They also come from the food. But how origin of the bacteria, viruses, and fungi come into the body is from the very first, I mean, from the birth of the child. They are getting transferred from the mother to the child during the delivery process. Now, we all know that the delivery can happen in two major ways, right? One is a normal birth, normal delivery, and second is a cesarean delivery, right? So, here we have also heard that it is said that the kids who are born with normal delivery have a better health status than those who are from the cesarean. One of the reason why it is said is because of the transfer of the microbes into the baby during the delivery. What happens is when you are having a cesarean, the gut microbes are not getting transferred from the mother's womb, right? The first set of colony of bacteria which come into the child is only because of the skin to skin touch from the environment, right? And hence it is said that the kids who get delivered from a normal delivery have a better gut microbiota than the kids who are born from with a cesarean thing, right? Okay. So we looked into what is gut, we looked into who lives there and how, are they really playing a big role by understanding the good and the bad bacteria, their percentages and their diversities, right? Now let's look into what happens if the percentage of this gut bacteria goes up and down. So we saw that the percentage for healthy gut health is 75% good and 15% bad. अगर इसमें ऊपर नीचे हो जाता है, if there is disruption in this proportion or imbalance, then we call it as dysbiosis. Now, dysbiosis can happen every single day. There is always some dysbiosis happening, because of n number of reasons. So, for example, stress hai, right? During the examinations or during presentations like this, or due to some really emergencies, where there's a death in the family, there's a lot of stress, or there is illness, or there is anything where your entire diet is disrupted. So there are a lot of chances where this dysbiosis keeps happening. But if this when is the concern is when you ignore the signs and symptoms that the body is giving you and you do not fix it up. This gets chronic, and when this gets chronic you end up having a lot of conditions. If you've heard about it, maybe you people have heard about it, or some may be also going through it. So few to name are irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, or we have the inflammatory bowel disease syndrome, right, which is the IBD. which has again three types, ulcerative colitis, we have the Crohn's disease, we have the celiac disease, and many more, right? So it is very important that some amount of dysbiosis due to some emergencies or due to some, changes in your lifestyle is okay, but we cannot let it go for a continued period of time. We need to understand the signs and symptoms and we need to immediately work on it. So let's move on to understanding what are the various functions of gut health. What is the function of your gut? We have already understood a few when we saw the smiley and the grumpy, right? So let's look into a few more. The first and the most important is the digestion and absorption of your food. So many times I get these complaints कि मैंने खाना अच्छे से शुरू कर दिया है, I'm having good food, but still I'm facing issues, I'm not losing weight, etc., etc. We need to give time for all these things, right? We have to change the complete dysbiosis that has happened in the body. So patience with health and with diet is very important. So the first function of the gut is when the food comes into the system, the right from the breakdown of the food to its absorption to its excretion is completely handled by the gut, right? So just imagine if you have more percentage of bad bacteria involved and we have very less skillful bacteria in the stomach or in the entire gut, what is going to happen is the proper breakdown is not going to happen. If the proper breakdown happens, then maybe the nutrients which needs to get absorbed in the blood and they are moving to the entire body, to give the proper nutrition. Those things are not happening. A lot of waste is getting accumulated in the body. So the main function of a healthy gut, of a gut, is to completely regularize the system of digestion, absorption, and excretion. The second important function is maintaining an immune system support. There is something known as GALT, that is gut associated lymphatic tissue, which is present in your gut itself, right? And here actually resides a good amount of your family, the entire family of your bacteria, viruses, and the fungi. Now, if again there is dysbiosis happening in the system, the amount of microbes which are required to fight the immune system or to fight the immunity is very less, and the entire immune system is at the stake. A very important point to note down here is that 70% of your immunity is built in your gut. So keeping your gut healthy, taking complete care of your gut is very, very important. Coming to the third important function, production of vitamins. Gut is known as a mini factory. It just considered as a mini factory which is producing a lot of things. The two main important vitamins that are produced in the gut is vitamin K and vitamin B. Now, do you know what is the importance of vitamin K? Maybe it is not really, talked about, but it has a very important function, and that is coagulation of blood. So when you are injured and when you bleed, after some time you must have seen that the body itself stops bleeding. And why this does this happen? It is because of vitamin K. So just imagine if you have deficiency of vitamin K, what is going to happen, right? The bleeding will not stop, and there will be a lot of a lot of blood loss that is going to happen. Secondly, all the B vitamins. I'm sure you must have heard about vitamin 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 and 12, right? There are n number of vitamins and each vitamin has a peculiar function. But to, quickly summarize, it takes care of your skin, your brain, your mental health, etc., etc. So again, if there is dysbiosis in your gut, your production of major vitamins are not going to happen. It is also important, a very important function of the gut is hormone regulation. Hormones play a very important role, and each hormone has a different role to play in your body. I think Archana started with a very important point about certain hormones like serotonin, right? Those are known as mood boosters. They are known as a feel good hormones. So they make you feel happy. So just imagine dysbiosis, disruption of the gut health, and why sometimes you all of a sudden do not feel good. Maybe everything is happening good at your end, but still you feel a lot low. I'm sure this happens because this happens with me also. And we just do not understand कि ये क्या हो रहा है, why am I feeling so sad? There's nothing to get sad about things, everything is all good with me. But still, that is when your gut is under stress and it is not able to produce the hormones that are required. The other hormone, very important, which everyone would be really interested to know, is your appetite hormone, ghrelin, right? So that is the hormone which actually controls your appetite. Okay. And if that appetite controlling hormone isn't produced well, just imagine, the weight gain that may happen. So again, many a time people get a lot disturbed because of the weight gain happening. We need to just understand the root cause of that weight gain that is happening and fix up, right? So I think the people who want to work on their weight loss also get a lot anxiety. It's just finding out the right cause and just tweaking, that's making that small change, and you can see beautiful results in your health. Okay. So basically, just to summarize it, the gut helps in keeping your energy levels high. It is like a protector. It protects against all the pathogens that are entering into the body. It maintains a healthy weight. It supports your mental health. It keeps your skin clear. It keeps your hair at a better state. It does so much work. So definitely, giving importance to your gut health is very, very important. Okay, moving to the next, and this is very important. I think everyone needs to pay a lot of attention to understand the symptoms. So I would, again request Archana to put up the poll where we would like to see that are you facing any of these symptoms currently? This is a multiple choice question, so you can just select any of the symptoms that you're facing from. It can be sweet cravings, bad breath, digestive issues, fatigue, sleep issues, skin allergies, anxiety or mood swings, unintentional weight gain, or even headaches. I want each of the participants, to really put in the responses, because as I said, this is very important. These are the symptoms, which are related to your gut health.
Come on,
Archana?
guys. Still, some of you have not answered the poll. So, as I see here, Vrishali,
Yeah.
everyone has experienced some or the other thing.
Okay. Thank you, Archana. And that just answers to my question. So even if you're facing one of these symptoms, it is very important that we have to look into the gut health. Okay. So we'll go into this quickly because there's nothing much to explain about it. What you need to understand, इसमें से कुछ भी अगर symptom है, your body is giving you a signal that you have to work on your gut. Constipation, diarrhea, flatulence, bloating are very direct related to gut health because your system, the digestion, absorption is not happening. Why fatigueness is there? Because the body is not able to break down the food. It is not able to extract the nutrients. It is not able to give the nutrients to the body. So that is why you feel fatigueness. Headache and skin allergies are mainly because the waste food is not moving out of the body. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं तो रिफ्लेक्ट होगा, right? Just imagine a lot of waste accumulated in your body that gets reflected maybe as headaches or skin allergies. Sweet cravings, why does it happen? Just imagine the bad bacteria is more in your body. The more amount of bad bacteria in your body leads to craving of sweets, because the bad bacteria are craving for sweets. They're not craving for any healthy food. So whenever you feel that all of a sudden you have started craving for sweets or junk food, one of the reason can be that there is dysbiosis, imbalance in your gut health. अनइंटेंशनल वेट गेन, अभी मैंने बता दिया था कि आपके जो एपिटाइट कंट्रोलिंग हॉर्मोन्स है वही प्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रहे, राइट? मूड स्विंग्स, एंजाइटी, स्लीप इश्यूज, अगेन वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस बिकॉज हॉर्मोन्स ही नहीं सिक्रीट हो रहे, सो यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ दिस इरिटेशन, कंफ्यूजन, फ्रस्ट्रेशन हैपनिंग. बैड ब्रेथ. How does bad breath be a symptom of unhealthy gut? That is happening because, as I mentioned, right, your one of the organs in the gut is also your mouth. So, if the proportion of these microbes increase in your mouth, it starts giving you a bad breath, right? If it is more in your esophagus, I mean, where the entire food pipe is, and in your mouth, it gets reflected as a bad breath also. And finally, immunity. Frequently falling sick is also a symptom of unhealthy gut. So I request you all to really start paying attention on the signs and signals that the body is giving you. Do not ignore them. Okay. Now the main comes, the what are the solutions? चलो हमने देख तो लिया, हमने जान लिया कि कौन रहता है गट में, क्या है वॉक कर रहे हैं, what are the signs and symptoms. But now what is the solution? So today I'm going to present 10 lifestyle habits, which is going to immediately start improving your gut health. So let's look into the first three one. Everyone, I'm sure, has heard about probiotics, prebiotics. Nowadays, there are so many advertisements, reels on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp about these probiotics and prebiotics. But what exactly are they? Probiotics are the live bacteria which are going into your body. So when I say, or when a dietitian says that you need to have probiotics, what are we trying to tell you is that we are adding direct good bacteria into your system. And that is why you need to have probiotics. What are the examples of probiotics? There's at least 6 to 7 list of probiotics, which includes your curd, your buttermilk, right? Your almond milk, your coconut milk, your rice kanji, your fermented vegetables, and few of the, the very popularly known things like kefir and kimchi, kombucha, sauerkraut, tempeh. Now everyone will be confused, not everyone would be aware about all these things, or you must have heard about this, but not really sure what they are about. But let me tell you, out of all these things, what I would like you all to focus is on at least two or three things, and that is your curd and the buttermilk. Okay, I think that is an excellent source of probiotic. So people who are not having curd or buttermilk, maybe for some reason, start including them. Maybe you can discuss, why you are not having them, and I can give you a solution. But definitely start including them into your diet. Second, I always recommend people is a rice kanji. What is a rice kanji? Rice kanji, the best way to prepare rice kanji is taking a earthen pot. जो मिट्टी का बर्तन होता है, उससे हमें लेना है. उसमें जो हमने राइस, पकाया हुआ राइस है, नॉट द रॉ राइस, द कुक्ड राइस. सो पूरे दिन में इधर शाम को या सुबह थोड़ा सा तो राइस बनता ही है. So you just need to take, say, 3 to 4 spoons of that rice in the earthen pot, right? Add water to it and keep it overnight. पूरी रात उसको रखना है. In the morning, I mean, cover it up and keep it the entire overnight. When you wake up in the morning, you see that the color of that, water has changed. Do not, throw away that water. You need to have the water and the rice. Okay, mix it or do anything that you want to, but you need to have the water and the rice together. Now, people don't like the flavor of just that rice. Okay, so what you can do is you can add some salt, you can add some chilies, you can add coriander, thoda sa dahi dal sakte ho, and it becomes a excellent breakfast option. Okay, so that's about the probiotics. Coming to prebiotics, what is prebiotics? Prebiotic is a food for your bacterias, for your good bacterias. So the combination of probiotics and prebiotics is important. सिर्फ प्रोबायोटिक ले लिया या सिर्फ प्रीबायोटिक ले लिया से नहीं चलेगा. It has to be a combination of both, because probiotics से हम directly bacteria body में डाल रहे हैं, but अगर if the environment inside your body is not favorable for them to survive, it is of no use, right? So you have to also add the food which is required for your probiotics. And that includes actually all your fruits and vegetables. Okay. So even if you don't go into the list that is provided, अगर आपने fruits and vegetables भी खाना शुरू कर दिया, okay, that is also good enough, right? Now, skin of apple, very important. So many people just remove the skin and, have the apples. Do not do that. Properly wash them. Properly, many times people come saying, oh, uspe wax rehta hai. Just clean it, clean it and try to have or cook the apple and then have the apple along with the skin. Papaya, pineapple, banana, very important prebiotic. Onions, garlics, beans, oats, now how a dietitian plays a role here is, say the fruits. Not every person can have every fruit. Not every person can have oats also. There are n number of types of oats also. So whether a dietitian or an expert plays a role, if you're a diabetic, what type of fruit you should have or what type of oats you should have is what the dietitian is going to help you out. What combinations you can have, when to have, how much to have is what the dietitians are going to help you out with, right? The third important thing is eat less sugar. I think in the previous slide we just saw, right? The bad bacteria thrive on sugar. They like sweets. So that is where if by reducing the amount of sugar in your diet, you will automatically improve the health of your gut, right? On the slide, we have mentioned that apart from the sugar, the better options can be jaggery, they can be honey, they can be stevia. But according to me, if you see that the gut is really disturbing you, I would suggest that completely stop the sugars, the sugar, jaggery, honey for few days. I'm not saying that completely stop it, but based on the intensity. So again, the how the dietitian plays a role here is they will help you कि कितने दिन के लिए कितना आपको कम करना पड़ेगा या stop करना पड़ेगा. Depending upon the intensity and the symptoms that we see, the dietitian can help you that आपको बंद करना है या कम करना है, कितने दिन के लिए कम करना है, क्या चलेगा, क्या नहीं चलेगा, everything the dietitian can help you out with. Coming to the next, very important, avoid taking antibiotics unnecessarily. I understand when a doctor has prescribed you something, you can take it, but the doctors also do understand. So it becomes your duty also that you take the course of antibiotics and finish it off and do let the doctor know that do you really need to consume them. Stop taking medications for small things like headaches or, some pains in the body, aches and pains in the body. Wherever you feel that the medicines can be reduced or can be avoided, please do that. Of course, when it is something serious, something very, very much required, you can talk to the doctor and take the medications. But I've seen a lot of people, taking medicines for unnecessary reasons. थोड़ा सा headache हो रहा है ले लेती हूँ, थोड़ा सा body ache हो रहा है ले लेती हूँ. Again, this is a symptom, a sign, a signal that the body is giving you कि कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. So instead of immediately just fixing the pains, try to understand कि क्यों हो रहा है. Understand the root cause of those things. Okay. Then comes a very important thing where there are n number of actually diets which are dedicated to gut health. Something known as FODMAP diet. We have the low residue diet. We have the gluten-free diet. So again, here, what we do when we find a lot of symptoms in a person, we slowly and gradually try to avoid things which are actually very irritating to the gut. Okay. Again, I would repeat, stopping a particular thing is not the solution. We first need to understand, is it because of the gluten that you're getting that symptoms? Is it because of the dairy that you're getting symptoms? Is it because of non-veg that you are getting the symptoms? So a dietitian would help you कि आपको पहले किसने छोड़ के देखना चाहिए. And when we say that avoid it or reduce it for some time, it is for some time. Okay. Now that can range for 15 days, 20 days, 1 month, because in that time when you stop having, we understand how your body is reacting to it. अगर body react अच्छे से कर रही है कुछ एक चीज छोड़ने के बाद, you understand that right now your body is not accepting a particular food item. So what we do is we stop that for a while. We give good probiotics, prebiotics, and good soluble and insoluble fibers. We make your gut healthier, and then we reintroduce the food item. So एक perception होता है patient, लोगों का कि मुझे ये छोड़ना पड़ेगा, मुझे रोटियां छोड़नी पड़ेगी, मुझे दूध पीना छोड़ना पड़ेगा. That might not be required. It is just that we need to understand, we need to fix it up, and we need to reintroduce that food into your diet. Okay. So the people who are getting, those get fear of diet कि मुझे तो अभी ये छोड़ने के लिए बोल देगी डाइटिशियन, वैसा नहीं होता है. हम लोग we see the symptoms and we customize the diet accordingly. Now, these are few things that also help in improving the gut, like, stressing less, hydrating well. People who smoke a lot, they need to reduce smoking. People who are not exercising at all need to exercise, sleep well. I mean, each of these topics can be discussed in detail. But, we have different experts at My Tattva, like we have a physiotherapist, we have a psychologist, and I think they are great. They are experts in explaining these 5 points to you. So today, in today's session, we would not discuss about the other lifestyle, but definitely people who are having a lot of stress need to start working on their stress levels. Those who are having less amount of water start having good amount of water, at least 3 liters of water. Reduce smoking, exercise regularly, and sleep well. Okay. Now, these are few just seeds, I'll not get into details of these seeds. If you want, we can share a quick snapshot of these seeds, which can give you immediate relief. कुछ चीजें हैं जिसमें टाइम लगता है, but the seeds, these are like doctors in your own kitchen, so why not use them? So fennel seeds, which help in reducing your bloating and indigestion. Your carom seeds, like that is ajwain. वो तो तुरंत, they give like immediate relief for any gas issues that you have. So that is how, yeah, one tip I would give with fennel seeds, and what I've commonly seen happening is with fennel seeds, people have sugar. Now, if you're having fennel seeds and combining it with sugar, you're again giving no nutrition to the gut, because sugar is actually, disrupting the gut health. So do not combine that soft with sugar. Okay. Cumin says jeera, which we regularly use in the meals, in cooking your food. So, जिन को gut problems hai, I feel they should regularly include jeera, cumin seeds into your diet. Ginger, it's like an all-time favorite for most of the people, right? So, start adding ginger whenever you have a upset, stomach upset, or you have nausea, right? This is one juice. So we spoke about certain seeds, but this is one juice which I recommend my patients, because what happens when you have any gut issues, there's a lot of irritation happening in the stomach, intestines. So whatever seeds you are having, I always advise that combine it with, this aloe vera juice, because it keeps the body smooth, it gives a soothing effect, a cooling effect. So जहाँ पे भी अल्सर्स है, इन्फ्लेमेशंस है, थोड़ा सा भी हीलिंग रिक्वायर्ड है, एलोवेरा जूस रियली हेल्प्स यू वेल. And with this, I come to, my concluding statement in gut health, that, take care of your gut, understand the symptoms, and work accordingly. There are a lot of questions that people ask me about supplements, because you must be seeing a lot of supplements, advertised coming in. I feel if the dysbiosis is not a chronic one, of course, the natural food can help you. So, first, with the help of certain experts like nutritionists, try to identify the root cause. If you identify the root cause, even the घर के जो अपने नॉर्मल फूड्स है उससे भी हम गट हेल्थ इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं. So start with natural remedies. Consider supplements for chronic conditions when you already have a lot of restrictions on your food. Just as I just mentioned, IBD है, IBS है, Crohn's disease है, celiac disease है, जहाँ पे food को time लगेगा healing में, there we do support you with certain supplements, right? So finally, personalization is a key. Not everything can be applicable for everyone. So with this, I complete my set of instructions, and then I would hand over it to Archana, who would take you through few more things that she has promised you. And stay tuned for the last later on the question answer round also. Archana, you
Yeah.
can take.
Thank you so much, Roshali. It was really informative. Before we wrap up, we are going to open the floor for a 10-minute question and answer session. This is your opportunity to ask any specific questions you have about gut health, lifestyle management, or anything else we have discussed today. Roshali will be here to provide insights and personalized advice. And while you're thinking of your questions, I'd also like to share some exciting offers from MyTatwa, the platform behind this initiative. At MyTatwa, we are committed to helping you achieve optimal health through personalized and science backed programs. As a special thank you for attending today, we are offering two exclusive discounts: 20% off on our lifestyle management program. Yeah. This program is designed to help you take charge of your health through customized plans that focus on diet, exercise, stress management, and more. You can actually use the coupon code GUTFIX20 for the next 30 minutes. It's valid. Wait, I'll also write it on the chat. You can just copy the code Second one is a free consultation with one of our health experts. If you're not sure where to start or if you have any specific concerns, you can book a free consultation to get personalized advice tailored to your needs. So if you need a free consultation, you just need to write in the chat, interested, yes, please, and we'll get back to you. Take advantage of these offers by visiting our website or contacting us directly. And yeah, let's open the floor for the question and answer round now. Guys, you can put in all of your questions either in the chat or in the question and answer box, and we'll be sure to respond. We have gotten a few already. So, Vrishali, I think we should start
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. I can see few chats. I'll just go to those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a question, is it necessary to have A2 milk curd? Okay, this is a very interesting question, and I would like to, quickly share my experience about it. So my daughter, who was around 4 years of age, all of a sudden she started having, symptoms like nausea, vomiting, pain in her stomach, etc., etc. And for a very long time, I was concerned whether she's actually getting lactose intolerant, right? And then I came across this something known as the A2 milk, right, which is Gir Gau's, milk. And when I started giving her, trust me, none of the symptoms were visible. And from that day, somehow I feel that people who have thoda sa bhi gut issues for some period of time, if they start using this A2 milk, they might see all those. I mean, they can see those reduced symptoms of it. So I'm not saying that hona hi chahiye. It is not necessary. But if you are not able to tolerate any of the milk or milk products, you should try for A2 milk. Okay. Then there's a question, what are the Indian alternatives for kimchi and other things? Of course, there are a lot of things that I already mentioned, and the most simplest of the things, would be the rice kanji. You can have the freshly made pickles also, okay? But here, the only thing with the pickles is people go overboard with it. So I would not say ki pickles bahut khao, but yes, it can be a part of it, right? Curd, buttermilk, of course, those would be the best. I think everyone should, try this rice kanji. Definitely, you should give it a try. And I think, Archana or the My Tattva team, we should give this opportunity where they can share their experiences later on also with us,
Definitely.
Yeah. Can you eat rice kanji with pickle? Even exactly what I just mentioned, that pickle definitely is a probiotic, but the only concern when it comes to pickle is the oil and the salt that goes in, right? So people who have high blood pressure or have high cholesterol, they should have these things in very moderate. So for a dietitian to prescribe very pickle cow, it becomes difficult. But yes, with rice kanji to improve the taste of it, as I mentioned, you definitely can have a small amount of pickle. Also, you can go for, I've written there on the slide also, there was something known as a fermented vegetable pickle. Okay. वो भी आप try कर सकते हो, and amongst the pickle, lemon pickle is also what I usually recommend, because lemon in itself has a lot of properties that help us in, improving our gut health also. Can you repeat the rice kanji process? Of course, what you need to do is you need to take a clay pot, any mitti ka bartan agar ho to, I mean, that gives you more better results, but put abhi nahi hai, you can put it in your any steel ka pot also, you can take a vessel also. You need to add 3 to 4 tablespoons of rice into it. This rice has to be cooked rice, not raw rice. Okay, जो घर पे हम बनाते हैं उसका ही थोड़ा सा बचा हुआ राइस हमें उसमें लेना है, उसमें पानी डालना है एटलीस्ट मोर देन द जो राइस की क्वांटिटी है उससे डबल, एंड कीप इट ओवरनाइट, उसको कवर करके पूरी रात भर रखना है. इन द मॉर्निंग you can just mix that rice and water, you can put it in a mixer also and make it into a fine paste, and then you need to have it. Abhi isko, as we were talking about, to enhance its flavor, you can maybe add rock salt to it, you can add green chilies to it, you can add coriander to it, you can add thoda sa pickle, have small amount of pickle with it, right? You can have all these combinations. I hope I answered that rice kanji process and it was clear. Any more questions, guys? I mean, I understand sometimes, we keep thinking about
Roshali, they
it.
have some questions.
Yeah,
I'll
please.
just read out the questions to you.
Okay. Yeah, please.
What are the most effective dietary changes or supplements for improving gut microbiome diversity? And how quickly can we expect to see results from these changes?
Yeah, correct. I think, a good question when we talk about the diversity of the thing, But so according to me, मैंने जो दो recommend किए हैं, the curd, okay, a curd has a lot of all the types of good bacteria that we expect. So that is why again and again insist on having curd, right? Curd and the rice kanji. And I would say, our Indian foods are so well designed कि हर एक season के लिए there's something that comes up. Okay, so maybe in the winters when you don't want to have curd, you can go for the fermented foods, the fermented pickles, right? So I think we should really respect the Indian culture and try to understand in which season which food is available and how is it really utilized, right? So going back to our roots and utilizing those foods at the correct time will really help us. Archana, what was the last question? Usme hi?
Okay.
Can you just repeat that question?
How quickly can we expect to see results from these changes?
So yeah, this again depends from person to person. It depends on what symptoms do you have and how much that dysbiosis has really occurred in your body. So symptoms के ऊपर होता है. So I'll tell you some things like constipation may take a good amount of time, but things like where only gases or flatulence is there, and if we identify what would have been the causative factor, it can be cured within maybe 1 or 2 days also, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is, what can I have when I get extreme sugar craving?
When you extreme sugar craving, definitely you can have good options like fruits. Now, if you do not like fruits, also, you can go for dark chocolates. I think dark chocolate is one thing which has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties also. When I talk about dark chocolate, at least 80% dark it has to be, right? If you like dates, you can go for dates. One thing that we've also, experimented and it has worked on few of them. Two things we had recommended. One is cinnamon. Okay. You need to slowly, a very small piece of cinnamon, if you just put it in your mouth and you try chewing it, we have seen a lot of people actually, stop having sweet craving. This is also
Wow.
true for the fennel seeds, the soft seed. Because when you're chewing both these things, okay, you can experiment this also. When you're chewing the cinnamon stick or when you're chewing the soft sticks properly, mindfully, a sweet flavor does come into the mouth. And I think that many a times our brain is not asking for sweet as a dessert, it is just asking for, it is just psychologically connected. So that sweet flavor, if it is coming for something, which is healthy, that also helps. It is just about acceptance, right? So my options would be dark chocolate, dates, fruits, even dry fruits like raisins hai, figs hai, anjeer if you like. Or then, as I said, the trick of soft and dalchini. Yeah.
So someone has asked, thank you for the insightful session so far. Can you recommend the best articles or books which can be further leveraged to strengthen gut feelings?
Okay. So currently, I have read this book. I just don't remember the name. I think I'll just share it with you. Archana, if you can take we do have the contact numbers
Yeah,
of
yeah, we do
everyone.
have.
Yeah. So we can do this. We can just share a few things, and I have few other articles also, which in fact, I feel people should be reading about it. I will definitely share those. Yeah.
Definitely.
Gut fix. Yeah.
Another question is frequent use of antacid advisable? What about pre or probiotics usefulness?
Yes, antacids, as I also mentioned in the session also, I spoke about antibiotics, but same things happen with the antacids also. Very quickly, we take these antacids to curb, the acidity issues, but I feel it shouldn't be taken because if you find out the root cause, किस वजह से acidity हो रही है, किस वजह से क्या हो रहा है, because when I take the dietary recall of people, I can immediately, the dietitians can immediately find out the root cause of this acidity issues. the usual causes of acidity are what? They are if you have a long gap between your meals. अगर सुबह खाया है and then शाम को खा रहे हो या बहुत late खाना खा रहे हो, that's the one very crucial cause of acidity. Others is what you eat. Okay, see what happens is these days I've seen a lot of people trying to experiment with their diets, right? They want to do intermittent fasting, they want to stop eating something. But what happens is in this, you are just focusing on the quantity of the food and no one is looking into the quality of food, right? So if you're wanting to do intermittent fasting, you also need to look into the quality of food. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि आप कुछ कम खा रहे हो, बट जो कम खा रहे हो उसमें अगर गलत खा रहे हो तो वो एसिडिटी इश्यूज कभी भी सॉल्व नहीं होती. So I need to understand that what is the root cause of the acidity, and then we can work on that, and slowly we can stop any of the medications that anyone is taking here, right?
One
And
other question
yeah,
is
yeah.
Is there any lab test to understand the percentage of good and bad bacteria in your system?
Yeah, there is definitely certain tests that are coming up. Though in India, they are not those, they are not that, so much into being. We are also experimenting, we are also looking into it. And definitely, maybe we can take up a session later on where we can. But yes, there are tests in India where they do collect your samples and then they give you entire list of prebiotics. But again, as I said, that is only required maybe when you need to go into a chronic condition. If thode bahut fixes hai, you can first, listen to the signs and symptoms what the body is giving you. You can work on it, and if still it is not working, then maybe those tests can definitely be done. But there are tests. Yes.
Another question is the person going with gastro problem can have soda or cold drink?
Sorry, those who have gastric problems can have.
Soda or cold drink?
No, 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 no. Definitely no. In fact, I'll tell you, if I tell you that you have lemon instead of soda, the first question, I mean, people get so anxious about it कि आप lemon खाने के लिए कैसे बोल सकते हो, तो gas problem है. Okay, but let me tell you, lemon, though it is acidic in nature, when it goes into the body and when it reacts with all the acids, it becomes alkaline. So lemon water is actually the best solution for any type of gastric issues. You can try this because it is tried and tested on me myself. Okay. But sometimes, yes, because of too much irritation in the body, as I mentioned, you can combine the lemon water with the aloe vera in it. Okay. So that it does not create irritation in the gut.
One other question is a vegan diet good for gut health?
Yes, it should be. Definitely, because if you look into the pre and the probiotics, all are, plant-based foods, right? So, in fact, for few days, when we look into the symptoms, we look into the intensity of the symptoms, we try to, give a lot of diets which are mainly plant-based diets. So, yes, vegan diets will help in gut health. Definitely, they will. Yes.
How does stress impact gut health, and what strategies can we use to mitigate its effects on our digestive system?
Yeah, so I can definitely give you a quick connection, right? How does it happen, right? Now, when you are stressed, okay, what happens when you get stressed? A lot of things are happening in the body. Maybe your blood pressure shoots up, your sugar levels are, disrupted, your heartbeat start thumping, and there are so many symptoms that the body starts getting. Now, what happens is in such a condition, your body's blood, okay, gets distributed to control all these things. So when you're stressed out, your cortisol level increases, and when your cortisol level increases in the body, to bring it down, the body tries to do a lot of fight and flight in it. तो बीपी बढ़ जाएगा, शुगर कम हो जाएगी या बढ़ जाएगी, heartbeat start throbbing. So in such conditions, to calm it down, to bring things into back, the blood flow gets distributed elsewhere, and वो टाइम पे वो गट की तरफ नहीं आ रहा है. Okay, the flow of the blood towards the gut is restricted, and hence your digestion gets affected, and that is how the entire system of how stress actually deteriorates the gut health is connected. Solutions is of course anything that can lessen your stress. Of course, there are experts in My Tattva who can take up this session. But few that I can tell you is meditation. Of course, no one likes meditation, and I know it's very difficult to meditate. But what I would tell you that certain links, guided meditation that you can do where you do not have to really think, right? They're guiding you, they're telling you what to do one after the other. That can calm your body down, and that can really help you actually meditate. Favorite thing that I really love and I encourage people to do, and I also do it. Being a Sunday, I do utilize this time for doing my favorite thing, that is getting indulged in some hobbies. When you're doing the things that you really love, it really helps you reduce your stress. So something like gardening, dancing, singing, you should at least have one hobby which you are able to do it on a day like this, on a Sunday, and it really helps you keep rejuvenated the entire week, right? So that is one more thing. Third thing, you can do certain yoga practices, right? Being a yoga instructor, not to a very large extent, but I do my yogas every single day, which really helps me keep my calmness down. So according to me, yes, and there are many techniques also, so as I mentioned, the techniques can be taught by an expert on the counts, and there are different types of breathing techniques, right? Apart from the Anulom Vilom, which you must have heard, there are a lot of techniques that I have slowly heard, something like the chocolate technique, chocolate breathing technique, and etc. etc. I'm sure they are very interesting ones. And we will definitely take up as a session, where we can work on stress levels. I think all of us need to work on it.
I
Yeah,
think we'll take just one last question.
sure.
I often feel uncomfortable and not fully relieved after bowel movements. What foods should I eat to improve my bowel health?
Okay. So, Archana, this is a very interesting question. And do we have that one slide which,
Yeah, I think we do have.
yeah, decoding your digestive health, again, a very funny incident I would like to share here. So, when my daughters were small, and maybe this is happening to you people also, okay, when they were at age of say 3, 4, or even at, sorry, 6, my younger daughter is 6 right now. When they go to poop, they have a lot of things to talk over there, right? They actually observe their poops and they keep describing it to me. It is, I know, very irritating, but trust me, this is a very good thing to do. It is very important to actually observe your poop because it actually talks a lot about your health, right? So when my daughter keeps describing me today, Mama, aisa hua tha, today aisi hui thi, it helps me understand what is her gut actually talking. So this is actually a very clinically evident Bristol stool chart where it gives different levels of your poops. There are 7 types of, these where it has been divided. And if you see the type 3 and type 4, okay, that these entire 7 types talk about the consistency and the shape and the, what do you say, the hardness of the stools. Okay. So the third and the fourth, if you see, these are the normal, which tell you your gut is healthy. But anything above the 3 and below the 4, so 1 and the 2 mainly talk about how constipated your body is. So if you are having any type 1 and type 2, which basically are the hard stools with no shapes and all, and where you actually take a lot of pressure to, flush them out of the system, that means your body is constipated, and you need to, the first thing that you need to do is drink a lot of water, right? You need to drink a lot of water, and you need to focus on your insoluble fibers. Now, there are 2 types of fibers which are found in the food: insoluble and soluble fibers. Now that is a little complicated one कि कौन से fibers को constipation के लिए लेना है, कौन से fibers diarrhea के लिए लेना है. Sometimes you also need to combine it because every single day you need to actually connect with your dietitian and see कि अगर ये soluble fiber डाला है, is it really helping? But basically it is all the trick of soluble and insoluble fibers wherein you will be able to improve it. And if you look into the 5, 6, and 7, those are all the stools which talk about your diarrhea. Okay, so यहाँ पे there is lack of fiber in your diet, and you need to include fiber in your diet, which comes from a lot of fruits, vegetables, your pulses, your beans. Pulses में जो beans होते हैं, वहां से आपको fiber मिलता है. So these your stools talk a lot about your gut health, specifically whether you are having proper amount of water and whether you're having proper amount of fiber. Okay. So maybe when you're talking to a dietitian, you can talk to them, and there's nothing to really feel awkward about it, because these are things, the way you talk to a doctor, and it is important to really talk frankly. It is also important to talk to your dietitian also and tell them what exactly are you facing and how is it, because based on that the entire diet gets customized. So I think, Archana, I answered the last question for the day, and it was really interesting. I mean, really good questions that our audience have put in, and I hope it really helped people. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really a very insightful session. Thank you so much, Rishali. And thank you everyone actually for being here. We hope you found this session very inspiring. And yeah, we are always here to help you out. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us.